Welcome to Drum LCK. My name is John, and today we're going to talk about 4 of the most popular drum set drum pads. Let's go. Alright, so first off, I just want to explain that today we're just going to be talking about drum pads that are geared towards or marketed towards the drum set player. There's a whole nother world of specialty drum pads meant for marching drummers. They can get crazy expensive. First up, we got the Movement Drum Company 4-in-1 practice pad. This is one of my favorites because it has a rim. Most pads geared towards drum set players don't have a rim. It's also called the 4-in-1 pad because it comes with 4 playing surfaces, which is very unique. Usually there's a top and bottom. Sometimes there's only a top. For this one, we have gum rubber on the top, which is slightly thinner. You know, that's the side I mostly use. It's got a rim, right? That's the whole purpose you get this pad. The bottom side is just a little bit thicker, a little more bouncy. I don't know if you can really tell there. The third playing surface this pad comes with is this thick, what I think is foam rubber, really. It's really cheaply made. It doesn't seem like it would handle much. And you just kind of plop it right into the rim there, and the rim holds it in place. Pretty cool if you want to get an extra workout. The fourth playing surface is a very cheap plastic laminate that you can place in the rim as well, which I've read can help simulate brushwork, maybe even a marching snare feel, but you know, I just threw that thing out. It was kind of junky. Now, one great thing about this pad and the actual gum rubber surface is that it's extremely durable. I've had this pad for maybe 4 years now, and I use it almost daily, and I just use this one side. I don't really use this side at all, but you can tell there's a little bit of wear, but nothing's really breaking through. Extremely durable. One problem I did have, and I've read a lot of people have, is the rim can start to pop up like that, which is a pain in the butt considering you buy this for the rim, but you can glue that down and it ain't going to go anywhere. One last disadvantage of this pad is really the fact that it's $60. You have 4 playing surfaces, but you can only use one at a time. $60 is a lot. If you have it, it's well worth it. I love this pad. Next up, we have one of my personal favorites, the Vic Firth Heavy Hitter Slim Pad. This pad is a beast. I've had it for at least 11 years. It's still standing strong. There's a little bit, I don't know if you'll be able to see the center here. There's a little bit of, you know, pitting or whatever you want to call it from playing that center for 11 years. But this thing is still my favorite go-to pad. Couple things off the bat. Purple, I love it. It's my favorite color. It's a thinner gum rubber, and again, like I said before, it's supposed to help make it feel like an actual snare drum. None of these rubber pads are going to feel like a real drum. It's rubber, and the drum is not rubber, right? That being said, this one comes the closest. One thing I want to bring up with this pad that we haven't talked about yet is the sound. This pad's a little louder, so if you're looking for something just to be quiet, it's probably not your choice, but this thing sounds awesome. It has a great sound. It kind of motivates you to keep practicing because it sounds so great. Has another side here, but this is really just like a foam rubber. You know, I really think it was meant to be like a grip so the pad's not sliding around, because this pad's a little lighter. It needs something to grab there. Does a great job. Some people play on it. I don't. It just doesn't really feel like it would be beneficial. All that being said, at a price point of $40, this pad is a beast. Go check it out. All right, next up is the Vader double-sided practice pad. Comes with 2 sides, but I think the coolest thing right off the bat of this pad is it's red. Usually pads are going to be tan or black. You flip the other side, and it's black. 2 different feels. Our red side is a softer gum rubber. Both sides are about the same thickness, but the black side is a little harder. That's supposed to replicate the feel of a real snare drum. It doesn't feel like a real drum at all. None of these pads really do. I typically practice on the red side when I use this type of pad, because it can really help you control that rebound. When you have a pad that's really bouncy, what you're really going for is learn. It forces you to learn how to control that rebound. Real quick, I just want to run through a couple cons of this pad. This pad's really heavy. It's a little bigger than the other pads. Most of the pads are 12 inches, but this is a 12-inch playing surface when the other pads are 12-inch total. So this actually comes out a little further. It's probably more like 13-inch pad. It's very heavy. Both sides, both rubber surfaces are pretty thick, and the wood is pretty heavy. So if you're a kid looking to keep your pad in your backpack during the school day, I wouldn't go with this one. And also, it's so big, it might not be easy to fit into a locker. So you might want to look at a different pad there. Another issue I had with this pad is one day I was at a gig. I threw the pad in the car. It was June. It was a hot day, probably in the 90s, and it completely melted. Which, I've kept pads in the car plenty of times. This is the only one that's ever happened to. Who knows? It could have been a rare occurrence, but don't leave your gear in your car. On our list, this pad has the most cons, and it's also the most expensive at $60. So if you're a Vader player and you just love your brand, go for it. If you like the red surface, go for it. It feels really good when you practice on this. I feel like I'm really beating down this pad, but honestly, I have it because I liked it and I bought it, right? I don't have anything I don't really like. It's just on this group today, this one's probably going to be, dragging behind. And lastly, we have probably the most popular pad on this list, the Evans Real Feel pad. It's called Real Feel because it's supposed to feel like a snare drum. Surprise, it doesn't. Now, this pad is everywhere. This is the one all my students have. This is the one we use at the school I teach at. It's on Amazon. That makes it super easy. Double-sided, same type of thing. Very hard surface here. This is probably the hardest surface of all the pads so far. I don't use it. It's supposed to replicate, maybe a marching snare or, like all the other pads suggest regular snare head. It doesn't. It's very bouncy, almost too bouncy. Very quiet, though. If you're looking for a quiet pad, this is the one you want. I'm pretty sure that's an MDF center to keep it a little lighter, but it's not super heavy. It's a little heavier than the slim pad, but it's considered a light pad. This could be okay to keep in your backpack at school all day. Now, this one has had a ton of miles on it. This pad I literally keep on the student kit at the school I teach, and I don't see any damage there, right? None at all. So, this one will last you a long time. Gray, kind of bland, but cool. I've had students drop this indoors, outdoors, concrete. I even had a kid throw it because he got angry. Don't do that. Don't do that. And you can see there's virtually no damage. I mean, a little nicking here, but that's going to happen over years, right? The best part of this is the price point. I believe this pad is only $35. It's the cheapest one on the list, which is also why it's probably the most popular. Now, this one's our octagon shape, which I really prefer the circle shapes, but, it gets the job done. You can't really beat a high quality $35 drum pad. If your budget's lower, this is the pad for you. Now we've taken a look at our 4 most popular drum pads. If I had to recommend one, if you only had the budget to get one of the pads, I would go with the Movement Drum Company pad. This thing is just a beast. It's light. It's got the plastic rim. Yeah, there's the issue with the rim coming up, but all you have to do is glue that down and you'll never have that problem again. 4 playing surfaces, and it's for 4 surfaces and not being the most expensive on the list, you can't go wrong. Now I want to hear what kind of pads you guys are using. Let me know what you're using. If you're using any of these four, let me know why. Maybe some of you love that Vader pad. Maybe that's your go-to. Let me know. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Everyone that watched this far, you're my favorite. Remember to hit subscribe and like, and until next time, take care.